Today is nonstop. And suddenly, your checking account is overdrawn. But what if we gave you more time on that one? At Huntington, if you accidentally overdraw your account by $50 or less, we've put a $50 safety zone in place, so you won't be charged an overdraft fee. It's one more way we're looking out for you, so you can have time for what matters most. Huntington, welcome. $50 safety zone does not apply to returned items. Your account will be automatically closed if it remains negative for 60 days. Learn more at huntington.com/safety zone.
The following is a Hoop Ball presentation.
Hello, and welcome to the Hoop Ball DFS Today podcast. I am your host, Mike Apatra, joined by the one and only Santino Caccone. We're here to break down this April 15th. It's a wonderful, wonderful Thursday. Got a nice little card on our hand, Santino. A nice little four-gamer. Nice little breeze through here. There should be a nice little short guy. We call this the day off, but how are you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. Yeah, he had a bunch of different nicknames for it, but yeah, it should be a breeze. 4-game slate. There's really no injury reports, no lines right now. We're going into this one blind too.
Blind we are, but we'll find the light. We'll find the light somewhere through here. And yeah, we got very little information. It's gonna be, maybe one of those ones where, hey, if we don't have a lot of this going into the slate, maybe just take the night off. But still 4 games. We're going to get some action. But before we jump into it, just a quick shout out to our presenting sponsors over at MyBookie. I can't say enough good things about MyBookie, but they are the number one sportsbook out there. The only one I give my stamp of approval for. You can play anything that you can imagine over there, from classic casino games, from blackjack, poker, to every sports bet between the MLB, NBA, all the good stuff that we have going on right now. Santino, I know he's over there taking advantage of a lot of their odds boost contests. He's the guy that always kind of keeps me on my toes, him and Dan Bespris. Let me know when there's a good odds boost. You jump over there, head over to MyBookie, and on your initial deposit, use that promo code HOOPBALL, HOOPBALL, and they'll match it 50% on up to $1,000. So if you put in $1,000, they'll give you $500 for free. That's free money. That's house money, as we say. But you don't need to deposit $1,000. You can deposit $10 and they'll match it 50% and give you $5 back. So check out MyBookie, guys. Use that promo code HOOPBALL. All right, Santino. 7:30 Eastern Standard Time game, the first of 4. Milwaukee Bucks traveling to Atlanta. For the Bucks, no injury report, second half of a back-to-back for them. Before the Hawks, John Collins, Chris Dunn, DeAndre Hunter, Cam Reddish, Tony Snell all ruled out. Danilo Gallinari, Trey Young both questionable. Both sat out the last 2 games for the Hawks, but you said it. We're flying in here blind, but I think it's safe to assume that Giannis is probably more doubtful, if anything. He's been just sitting. So I'll let you take the reins, though. You started us off with the Bucks.
Yeah, and it's a tough one because we don't know about Giannis' status. He missed this game on Wednesday. I'm with you. I think he probably misses this one too, especially with all the injuries that the Hawks are dealing with. They're just going to get this guy right for the playoffs. So in the event that he does play, it'll change up my thought process. But I'm going in with the assumption that he's out, and that means Bobby Portis probably draws another start. But Drew Holiday becomes the guy too. Very good matchup with or without Trey Young. Very good matchup. 8,400. I like him. The wings are depleted too, so if you wanted to take a chance on Middleton, that's a solid option there too. But I prefer Holiday. Bobby Portis is now near 7K. He was a guy that, knowing that there's no Giannis, most likely is a guy that you can look at. I'm probably not going to go there. I think he's hitting value, but the upside isn't great, especially with that near 7K price tag. So I think we can look elsewhere. And I'm probably just looking at Drew Holiday and then seeing what happens on the injury report.
Yeah, this is when I miss Ersan Ilyasova playing for the Bucks, because anytime Giannis was out, Ersan never got over 3,500. That was it. It doesn't matter how long Giannis missed; he would be right around 38 or 35, and great value all the time. But I'm with you. I'm going to go to Holiday and Middleton. I like one. I could even see playing both these guys. I'm expecting big games from both of them. Portis is a little priced out of my range at this point at 6,800. You can still get some shares, but I think you said it well. The upside's a little bit, it's still there, a little less, convincing that he's going to hit that floor every single game at 68. I'm looking for 34 to 35. But still, he could get it done. Outside of those two guys, DiVincenzo's the second tier option for me, behind Middleton and behind Holiday. I'm also I prefer Holiday over Middleton as well. But all three of those guys are in play for me. I'll be looking at all three of them. I'm not going to get too cute here. It's a 4-game slate. I think getting exposure to even two of those guys in this game might not be a bad strategy. But definitely going to look to at least have one of those three. Sliding over the Atlanta side of things, a lot going on. A lot going on. We're going to have to watch.
It's an understatement.
Big news is really just going to be Trey Young and Danilo Gallinari. Both these guys missed the last two. Your guess is as good as mine. At least we know what to kind of expect, I think, at this point, because they've missed 2 games in a row. But why don't you talk about the Hawks for me?
Yeah, so I think Gallo is less likely to play than Trey Young, for what that's worth at this moment. And with that said, if Trey plays at 91, I'm probably not going to go there. They would need him to score. I mean, when I say that, it's going to depend on Giannis. If Giannis plays, I would want to get a little bit of Trey Young exposure there. If not, then I just think they're going to key on him if he does play, and it just makes sense. Outside of that, Capella, solid spot, but 8,900 is a tough price to pay. I don't know how much upside he has on that, but this is a good matchup for him. But I do like Bogdanovic, assuming Trey Young doesn't play. I mean, we've just been seeing this guy go on a tear lately, and he turns into the number one option by far when there's no one playing alongside of him. He saw 40 minutes in the last 2 games. He's just hitting value. If Trey Young doesn't play, very good. If he does play, he's a guy that he teeters on if I want to go there, because it is a hefty price tag if Trey Young is playing. Outside of that, no Trey Young, Brandon Goodwin. He's only 45 still. It's still a pretty solid value for a guy who has back-to-back games of over 32 DraftKings points and 37 minutes on the floor in each game. 4,500, you're not going to say that a lot. And I would assume if Trey doesn't play, maybe Drew Holiday goes more on Bogdanovic and Goodwin has DiVincenzo. Still a solid defender, but nothing like Drew Holiday. And that's probably where I'm at right now in terms of this team, depending on if Trey and Gallo play. Then if both of them play, I just don't expect Gallo to play. If he does play, changes things up a little bit. I'm not going to look at him if he does play, though.
It's a scary thing in my head when I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you talk, and I'm like, he's kind of thinking like me. And then I have to ask myself, is that dangerous? Am I thinking like Santino? Yeah, I'm right there with you though, dude. I think Trey Young.
Dangerous.
I'm not playing Trey Young. I don't think either way, whether he plays or not. I think he draws that Drew Holiday defense. That's enough for me, even if Giannis sits. I don't need to pinpoint a guy after just missing 2 games coming in here playing the best perimeter defender in the NBA. All set with that. Maybe the stats aren't showing that this year, but we've seen. I think there was probably about 5 or 6 players that top players. I think Lillard mentioned it being one of them, that he is the toughest defender to go against. So I'll pass with that, but I also do love narratives. And if Trey sits, Bogdanovic, you touched on it, he's going to get all the love, all the usage. We know this team is vulnerable from the 3-point line, and Bogdanovic isn't going to be shy from there. All the recipe.
When you said narratives, I thought you meant that Bogdanovic was supposed to be on this team.
Yep,
and
that's
something
what I was
weird.
getting to. Absolutely.
You said it, and then you went in a completely different direction.
Well, I was going to close with that. You're just stealing my thunder. I mean, just you had your time to shine. I gave you your 30-second spiel with the Hawks, and now you just all right. The narrative. He was supposed to be a Buck. This kind of all fell apart right at the end, and then he ended up on the Hawks. So there is the narrative of kind of showing him this is what you could have had. But again, that Drew Holiday defense.
They did want him.
He didn't. Yeah. He didn't. So he still wants to show him though. It's there. But if he's got that Drew Holiday defense, if Trey Young's out, I'm going to be a little cautious. I'm not just going to overload on him, but I do like him a lot. Outside of him, I'm with you. I think Brandon Goodwin's a great option. And then I've been playing a decent amount of Kevin Werder. I think I can keep going right back to the well. He kind of just flies under the radar and continuously hits that, 5x value. Never really crushes it, but he's going to have one of these games where he just shoots great from the field, chips in a little bit more. But it could easily be this matchup. Bucks play pretty fast and pace too. So I'm expecting this game does not have a game total out now. I would be expecting probably around like the 230-ish range for this one. But you ready to move on to the next one?
Let's do it.
Golden State Warriors traveling to Cleveland, taking on the Cavs. No injury report for either team. Both on the second ends of back-to-backs. No game totals. No spreads. Put on your flashlight.
Was that to me?
Yep, but you got to put on your flashlight. We're flying blind, buddy. Come on.
Oh my god, I kind of got it, and at the same time, it's like, please say something else, because that's that kind of segue is just but
it wasn't the best segue. I could have did a little bit better. I'll be honest on that one.
The Warriors are currently playing as we're speaking. They had a late, I believe, 9:30 start. Back end of a back-to-back. They played OKC in the first one. This one's against Cleveland. Two bottom-of-the-barrel teams. I can see them resting people. Oubre's already doubtful. They mentioned that already. He was out for Wednesday, doubtful on this one. Wiseman's is not going to be playing. Pascal's been out. They could possibly rest Draymond. They could possibly rest Curry. But also I was thinking, or my thinking is, they need games to win, and why would you take a chance on not beating a crappy Cavs team, just like they did with the Thunder? Take the easy wins, and if you're going to take some off, take it off against like a good team. So that's my thinking. I think it could go either way, but I'm going to assume that they're all going to be playing in this one. And with that said, if I'm going to pay up for a prime time investment, I like paying up for Curry. There's only two people in that 10K range, but if he's going to play and it's going to be against this Cleveland defense, he's a solid pay up option. Only, like I said, there's only two guys over 9.7, so there's not many people to go spend high on. And one guy is Giannis, who's probably not even playing. So if you are going to spend up, you're getting Curry, and you're getting a very good matchup against a just not a great Cleveland team. And Sexton missed this game, so keep an eye on him. And Cleveland's on the back end of a back-to-back, like you mentioned. So Allen, Nance, Love, all these guys could possibly miss. Outside of Curry, depending on if they do rest people, I'm not really looking at too many people. Maybe Kevin Looney at 3,800, because now he's starting and playing a ton of minutes. But I'm just not really invested unless like a Curry misses. Then I'll go straight look at Andrew Wiggins and maybe Jordan Poole.
Has he scored yet this game? Looney? Like an actual point, not like a drafting point.
He didn't score in the last one. As of right now, I'm not sure. I wasn't looking at it.
I just love to see him go 2 games in a row. I'll probably still play him either way. I think you're right. I think that they.
He has 9 points, and it's early second quarter.
What do we got for a score?
49-36.
Okay, we're hoping that Golden State just runs away with this one quick. That's what we're hoping. That way, that these guys get a fourth quarter rest, and then they could play this game. I'm not convinced that they do blow Cleveland out if they're fully healthy. Like you said, there is the risk with Cleveland being on a back-to-back and, being without Sexton. I think they were without Sexton tonight. It sounds like he was pretty close to returning, and that they're just kind of keeping an eye on it because it is a back-to-back, and they might want to play Sexton, being tonight against Golden State. But if they have their backcourt, they have Jared Allen, they could very well keep this game fairly competitive. So I do like Draymond. He put up 47.5 DK points in this matchup earlier. Granted, that was probably when Cleveland was missing a few of those front court guys. Curry put up, I think, 50 in only 30 minutes of that same matchup. He's going to be the high-priced guy that we want to spend on. If either one of those guys sits, you roll out Andrew Wiggins or Poole. Feel confident with those two guys. And then I think Looney's in play either way. It's a solid value, 3,800. We know how big Cleveland is. They're going to need their size, and it's the reason why I think Draymond will probably play a little over 33, 34 minutes if it stays close enough. But that's kind of what I'm looking at over there. A lot of the same stuff as you. But we'll slide over to the other side of the ball on the Cleveland team. Who are you looking at?
Yeah, so again, this is a team that's been dealing with a bunch of injuries lately. People just came back. Now they're on the back end of a back-to-back. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye on this. This starts only a half hour after the first game, so hopefully we have enough news there. But Jared Allen at 7,700, if he's going to play in a full complement of minutes, he's over that concussion that he had. Under 8K at 7.7, that's a high price tag, but this is a very good matchup for him. Looney isn't super physical, and they don't have anybody behind him that's Allen's size. Draymond Green's playing a lot. They're going to play Toscano Anderson, who's only 6'6", in a lot of smaller ball lineups. So I just like that price tag for him to do work if he does play and he is able to play a full complement of minutes. Outside of that, depending on if Sexton plays or not, Garland at 6'6", if there's no Sexton, he's pretty much the top guard there. That's not a bad price tag. If Sexton does miss, Deladova should draw another start at 3,800. Very good price tag for him. If Sexton does play, I don't think I'll have much of either of those guys. I'll probably just stick to Jared Allen here and then look at possibly Larry Nance. If Kevin Love does sit, because that's another guy who's possibly going to sit this one out. This is a team that all these guys have been missing time lately, so it's a crapshoot for who's actually going to play in the second half of a back-to-back.
Crap shot.
Crap.
If we know Allen's going to play the minutes, lock me in. I don't mind paying the 77. I'm very high on Nance though as well. I think you could play him whether or not Kevin Love plays, sits, whatever it may be. I think he's the guy that they would run out when they do decide to go small ball center. He's just a guy that can really just pad the stats. He hasn't had his chance against Golden State, but this matchup just seems like it's picture perfect for a guy like him. All over the place, is going to have the opportunity for a few steals, few blocks. I could kind of see it being like one of those lower scoring games, chips in some defensive stats, and sneaks away with like 5 assists or something, like a little bit above average on the assist column. So I do like Sexton, Nance, Allen, and I do think I'll cross it off at Dellavedova too. I like Delly. If one of those two backcourt guys sits at 3,800, if we need the value, he's a decent option. Another guy that never really is going to be much of a huge scorer. 10 assists we saw against New Orleans. I don't know exactly what he has right now, but I'm sure he's kind of chipping in and he does all the dirty stuff. Gets the steals, gets the blocks, a couple boards, a couple assists. Never going to score a ton. That's it. I don't know if I love Garland, but I just don't know when push comes to shove. I already know Curry's going to be one of my guards. I'm going to have to try to figure out if he makes the cut compared to some of these other guys that we're going to talk about. Ready to move on to the next game?
Yeah, let's do it.
Boston Celtics traveling to LA, taking on the Lakers here. For the Celtics, Evan Fournier ruled out. For the Lakers, no injury report. We actually do have a game total, 212. Lakers favored by, Boston favored by 5.5 points. So used to say, I would have thought it would have been the Lakers, but still missing all the bodies. We'll slide over to you, Santino. Boston only missing Evan Fournier in this one. Tatum coming off of a big one against Portland, really just kind of decimated them. 10 of 17 shooting, put up a total of 55 DK points, but 32 actual points. 9,400. Are you going to spend up on him in this matchup?
And he's another option that you can look at. I do like the guards here in both these matchups, but he would be my preferred forward. I mean, he's one of the only forwards that you're paying up for. All the other ones are centers or guards. I do like to go. I am leaning more towards guards here, but as a contrarian type play, where I know I like a lot of guards and I do want to pay up for a forward, I would go Tatum's not a bad option here, especially in this matchup. He'll probably have a lot of Kuzma. He'll probably I was going to say possibly Morris, but Morris didn't play on Tuesday. I forgot to say that, so he might not even be playing on this one. They might have to go smaller. That changes the outlook, and that helps him anyway if he's playing a lot more against even more against Kuzma when Kuzma has to play the 4. Outside of him, I think Marcus Smart at 6'1" is a guy I think is solid, and Rob Williams at 5'8". Both two in decent spots. Rob Williams, even though he's splitting time with Tristan Thompson, he's still hitting value, and now that he's back under that 6K mark, he was reaching near 7K. Now that he's back under 6K, now I feel more comfortable going there. He's about $1,000 less than he was a week and a half ago, so that's some good value there. And I said Marcus Smart. Usually when he plays the Lakers or something, he gets up for these types of matchups. And he's been playing really well lately, and he's only 6'1". I think value here is pretty solid for him. There's not a great defender on the wings, and he doesn't really need to score the ball to bring back value here.
Yeah, okay. I'm with you. As far as Tatum, I think it's the contrarian play. Like if you want to spend up on power forward, you hear me say all the time. There's slates where sometimes you just take the value. And then, if there's a position that you don't like, spend up there. Make your life easy. In that type of scenario, I'll probably build a few builds like that. I will have Tatum at power forward. There's another guy close or a little cheaper in price tag that we'll get to. That is one of my favorite plays on the slate. But that's the other option right there. As contrarian to that play is going to be Tatum. Outside of him, I don't mind Jaylen Brown, but I kind of prefer Kemba. 2 out of the past 3 games, Kemba's put up 40 DK points, 6,800. Point guards are a little easier to target the Lakers than any other position. Granted, their defense, it's still performing. I can't say it's terrible. It's just obviously not what it is without Anthony Davis, LeBron James. Probably going to cut it off after that. I don't know if I'll go to Robert Williams. Don't mind the play. Don't hate it. Just not a spot where I think I'm going to use my center position on. There's a couple other guys that we will get to. But you ready to move on to the Lakers?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Let's talk about Andre Drummond, 6,900. What are you doing with him? Limited minutes back to back?
I thought you were going more saying something else. I was waiting for
That's it.
Yeah. This is a slightly trickier one. He's only playing in the mid-20s right now, and he's still teetering on value. The first couple games he brought back value, and then this last 2 were kind of duds. He's only had 7 total points, 3 of 10 shooting. He's not that bad of a shot. And in this type of matchup, the Celtics are still weak in the front court. No matter what the fantasy numbers and everything says about Rob Williams, they can still be had in the front court. 6,900, he's still in play for me, but it's not as lock and load super safe as it was when he first suited up for them. Now it's kind of, okay, what's going on here? I know he's acclimating to these new teams. He's still pretty much a top option. He's not playing with anybody like LeBron or AD that he never played with before, so it's getting weird. But I'll still have him in my player pool because he is super talented and his per minute numbers are still through the roof. And eventually he's going to start getting it going.
So I haven't actually watched a lot of his play on the Lakers. Has he been getting into foul trouble? Has it been things that have just been like keeping him out of players? Has he just looked terrible? Or the missing toenail? Could be that.
Foul trouble, he's not getting some of the looks that he could get or he should be getting. I think it's just an adjustment period that a lot of people go through, and eventually it's going to be better. Especially, I think it's going to be once LeBron and AD play, it's going to be a new ball game for him too, and much improved and much easier looks. But right now, I think it's just he's trying to gel with the team and not knowing where he really fits.
Okay. Hey, listen, I love the matchup. I worry about the minutes. I worry about he's actually struggled against the Celtics in the past as far as foul trouble. They kind of attack him. I don't know if that's part of their strategy, but he's gotten into foul trouble against them before early on in the game. So I'm gonna proceed with caution. Normally this is a smash spot that I would lock in, but I've been paying the price on Drummond playing in the last 2 slates, so I'm gonna proceed with a little bit of caution on this one. I might just limit him to my GPPs. I don't think I'll play him in cash. Maybe single entry. I'll probably avoid him as well. We'll just have to cross our fingers and hold our breath when we play Andre Drummond until we can see something. I think you're right. I think once Davis and LeBron come back, it's going to be a 10 times easier game. He basically just has to play one role, and that's just defense and rim run, and just kind of get what's coming to him. And he will be open quite often for those little dump offs. But outside of him, we got a couple of these other guys. I guess pretty much everybody is an offensive option right now. Kyle Kuzma, Schroeder, and Harrell. Morris sits. We could probably expect a few more shot attempts for guys like Horton Tucker, Caldwell Pope. Do any of those guys stand out to you?
Kuzma slightly. I think this is a solid matchup for him too. It's only 6,500. There's some people around here that will have some other alternatives, but I don't mind going to him here. Taylor Horton Tucker at 5,100. I think Markieff Morris, if he misses, that means minutes for both those guys and dwindling down the line. And at 5,100, that's not a bad price tag for Tucker either. People can look at Schroeder because of the matchup. I think Marcus Smart's probably going to be on him, and they'll just throw Kemba off ball, maybe on Caldwell Pope. It's not like Caldwell Pope can get his own shot when he wants anyway. So size advantage slightly, but I don't think that's too much of a thing there. But yeah, those are probably the two guys that I'd be looking at, Tucker and Kuzma.
I'm looking at Tucker and Caldwell Pope. But usually Caldwell Pope is a guy I look at when I just land on him. He just rounds out my lineup. I'm not going out my way to play him, but we've seen the upside. It's not going to be that upside that he had. What was it, like 3 games ago, where he just couldn't miss? But he's probably going to give you, as long as he's playing 30 plus minutes, like an 18 to 22 point floor and a ceiling that could be anywhere between 30 and 34. And you could take that at 40. I think it was 4,400. You ready to move on to the last game?
Let's do it. Very quick today.
It's only 4 games, man. We didn't make the slate. We didn't, blame Silver. Silver did this. So if you have one of those 45-minute commutes, I apologize. You might just have to listen twice or listen to in reverse. Sometimes you hear hidden messages. Maybe we got secret plays in there. Sacramento Kings traveling to Phoenix, taking on the Suns here. Abdul Nader, he's out for the Suns. Sacramento has yet to release their injury report. They're playing tonight. No game total, no spread. Santino, talk about these Kings for me.
Yeah, so they're not going to be with Rashawn Holmes, Marvin Bagley. Buddy Hield entered Wednesday as questionable, and he was available and started, but we'll see what happens. This team is now 5 games behind the 10 seed. At some point, they should at some point say, okay, let's see what we got in some of these young guys, like a Robert Woodard or me too. I like saying that. Just see what we got there. But right now they aren't. But this is a super tough matchup. Without your starting front court, shouldn't even count Bagley in that. Without your starting center, this is not some place you want to go traveling to Phoenix with one of the best and slowest teams one of the best teams, best defensive teams, and slowest teams in the league. I really don't want any part of this. I don't want any part of 9,700 for De'Aaron Fox, even though there's only 4 games, and there's, like I said, he's the second highest player on the slate, assuming Giannis doesn't play. And if he does play, he's the 3rd highest player on the slate. But I just can't go there. Barnes, Halliburton, not bad. If you do want to take a shot on someone, I guess it's Damian Jones, who's getting the starting nod again, and he's only 3K. Or if you believe Hassan Whiteside's going to play more, he's only 3,400. If you think that they should stop playing Mo Harkless like I do, then maybe you go with DeLone Wright or Terrence Davis, Kyle Guy. But I think Jones and Whiteside are the only 2 that I can feel comfortable with going at.
I'm with you. I think if Whiteside any sort of minutes, I want to play him. I just don't know if anybody wants to play this dude anymore. But if he gets even 15 to 20 minutes, he can easily pay off a mid-salary price tag and potentially even get you 30. We know his point per minute. Like if they just decide, hey, we're going to give him some garbage run, sign me up. But it would probably be Jones, like you said, that would play the significant run out of the 2. So I don't mind looking at him. Don't mind looking at Harkless either. Just simply a value, 4K. He's going to probably play close to 30 minutes again. I'm hoping. Back-to-back games, he's already played 30+. Unfortunately, like you said, he is part of this rotation, and he's a fixture. I don't understand why. But
at some point, they're going to tell Luke, stop it. He's a free agent to be. He's a veteran. There's no need to play him. They're out of the 10 seed.
I think you forget when they were playing Corey Joseph significant minutes. It's so
they traded Corey Joseph so they didn't have to play him anymore.
Yeah, well, that's because they probably told Luke like 11 times, like, dude, could you stop doing it? And they just couldn't control him. He just kept doing it, so we just got to get rid of him on our own. So maybe
I do have to say kudos to Corey Joseph because he's drawing the starts in Detroit now, and like this guy, it's like the Austin Powers. Why won't you die? that line there. Like he goes to a new team, you think he's just irrelevant. Now he's getting starts on Detroit, another team that should just be playing young guys. But I digress.
I love one of my favorite memes is that I'm gonna shame on me, Santino. You'll probably be able to help me. It's the guy in the I think Kevin Nash when he's in the wheelchair and he's faking.
Oh, you got it right, Big Diesel.
Yeah, and then he pulls the blanket off, and he just stands up. That's kind of like Corey Joseph did. Pretended like he was a 40-year-old crippled man who just couldn't play a lick of defense, and then now all of a sudden he's starting and he's playing well. But yeah, that's it for me. Those three guys are probably all I'm looking at. I assume Halliburton would probably get some decent run if it gets out of hand. You could maybe take a shot on him. And maybe DeLon Wright plays if it gets to a blowout. That would probably be like one of the ending courts that we'd see would be like Halliburton, DeLon Wright, one of those garbage centers that we're going to want some shares of. Hopefully not Harkless. This team's trash. Let's keep it moving to Phoenix. Sorry, and not trash. Halliburton's one of my favorite young guys, but they got so much opportunity. But then they got Luke Walton as a coach. We'll start off. I'll lead us off here, Santino. Devin Booker. He's one of my favorite plays on the slate. 8,700. I want some shares of D-Book. I love him in this matchup. I just always tell you, I always love my shooting guards going against the Kings. Why not go with one of the best shooting guards? 8,700. We got the money to spend. If this game gets out of hand, it's probably going to be a lot to do with Devin Booker shooting. Actually, I guess I don't need to comfortably say that. They spread the ball around pretty well. It could really be Jay Crowder that just murders them again. But either way, I think Devin Booker, you're probably looking at a floor of like 35, which obviously would hurt you. But there's going to be some money to leave on the table on this slate. Like you said, based on how you're game scripting some of these games, you're going to have to get some shares in the one game that you feel uncomfortable about, no matter what. You're going to have to. And I don't mind getting some shares on the Phoenix side, rather not do it on the Sacramento side. So I'll go with some Devin Booker. Don't mind DeAndre Ayton at 6,700 either. Outside of those two guys, it's always the wing guys that we could take shots on. I think Crowder just had his game, so maybe you avoid that one. But at 4,400, same price as Caldwell Pope at a different position, it makes for a good pivot.
Yeah, I love Booker. He's one of my favorite plays on the slate. I like Paul, not as much, and I do like some point guards here. So don't know how much exposure I'll get, but good matchup for him as well. Ayton, very good matchup. There's no Rashawn Holmes. There is only Whiteside and Damian Jones, who's already on his third team this year. So if you're going to expect DeAndre Ayton to have a good game, this is the game to do it. As long as it can stay close. Jay Crowder, 4,400, solid. Cam, if you think it's a blowout, Cam Johnson, Dario Saric to get more minutes. I'd like Saric regardless. It's just a good matchup. The front court is depleted. Hopefully he sees about 20 because he'll bring back value if he sees 20 minutes. And yeah, this is the team that I can expect for myself to have lots of shots in.
Exactly. Yeah. Glad we're on the same page. All right. Well, that brings us home. So we just got to get through these wonderful player tiers, my good friend. I'll let you lead us off because I'm always a gentleman. Give me your high price stud. Give me your high tier guy.
Yeah, and I think just Booker, just mentioned him at 8,700. He's going against the Kings. The Kings just are the Kings. They had that 5-game winning streak, and they looked good, and now they're just losing and losing and losing. As long as it stays close, he should hit at least value.
I'm feeling like a 35 actual or 36 actual Devin point game for Book. I was going to pick him. I love him on this slate. So if I'm not going to go with him, I'll avoid the super studs, the cop-out and Steph Curry. I'll go Drew Holiday at 84. I think another rock-solid option, point guard and shooting guard eligible. Being dual eligibility always helps, too. So how about that mid-tier range, under 75? Where are you going?
So if Trey doesn't play, I think Bogdanovich just makes a lot of sense. Just in cash, GPP, he's just super safe. He's going to be running the mill there at 7-2. So that would be, I'll do a high guy just in case Trey doesn't play. Because every time a lot of times we do, I say who I like, and then all of a sudden this slate is literally turned upside down by the start of the slate there. But that'd be the higher priced guy and a lower priced guy. There's not a lot to love in the mid-tier range, but I I think he could slide back down to DeAndre Ayton. That whole game. There is not a center on the opposite team that can really guard him.
You do this to me every time. You know that, right? You know you're only supposed to give one mid-tier guy. You always have to give two.
I'm going on the higher end and the lower. Actually, they're only 500 apart.
Yeah, it's not even apart. You're just like, let me just take the guy that he's going to pick, not like he just said how much he loves the Suns or nothing. Yeah, I was going to go with DeAndre Ayton. But since Santino just likes to, not follow the rules and pick 7 players when he's supposed to pick 3, I'll slide the rules. I'll slide down to I'll go to my boy. That's like the lower range. We'll go with Kevin Huerter. I like Kevin Huerter at this. I think he's going to be the sheep herder. Just for the same reasons you said, Bogdanovich. I think Kevin Huerter is going to be a guy that he just always flies under the radar. He's got that solid floor, and I think this could be one of his ceiling type games. Just again, you want to beat Milwaukee, you want to do it from behind the 3-point line. So not the best. He's not terrible in cash. But better suited probably for your GPPs, just trying to capture some of that upside. All right, buddy. Value play.
What's the value?
Does it matter? You're going to say 4 guys anyway.
What are you capping it at?
Whatever you want, buddy. You're just making the rules anyway.
I'll throw 2 guys. A higher guy, Brandon Goodwin. Lower guy, and I won't even say anything. Lower guy, Whiteside.
All right. No, thanks. All right, Brandon Goodwin, that's a solid option. You can't go wrong with him, especially if what's his name gets ruled out. Trey Young, what's his name? I'll go with Dellavedova in case one of those backcourt guys over there in Cleveland get ruled out, and I'll give the caveat play in case they both play.
You're doing a second guy. Oh my God.
Yeah, well now we might as well just name everybody. This is a caveat play. See, at least I say, hey, if he doesn't play, I'll give somebody
That's
else.
what I said about Bogdanovich. If Trey Young plays,
people heard. People heard. The people, they can't lie. You can't lie. The people heard. We'll go Mo Harkless at 4K. If I have to play and stomach anybody over there, I want it to be somebody that's cheap, who is going to at least play some decent minutes. But that takes us home, my friend. That is it. There's nope. You can't name any more players, Santino. We're done.
I'm good. I named them.
But if you want to give us a follow, you can find me at Mike Apotria, MikeApotria. You can find Santino at Santino Caccone, SantinoCaccone. Give us a follow. And then when you're done with that, hit up Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you're listening. Give us a thumbs up, 5-star review. It's greatly appreciated. Let us know how we're doing. Anything else you'd want to see that we think that we can do better, or maybe things you want to see added, let us know. We're here to improve and get better for you guys. So that's it. And what else we got, Santino? We're doing another DFS contest this week. It was so much fun last week. B Bucky, you still have yet to direct message me on Twitter. I have a gift for you. I want to give it to you. But hey, if the message does not come, we will re-gift, I guess. But this Friday, Santino wants to do Thursday. Do you want to tell the people why you want to do Thursday, Santino? You want to tell them what you're doing right around lineup locks on Friday?
I'm walking the pup, man. Friday's not my day, not my lineup lock day.
He's got such a strict pup routine, such a strict dog walking routine.
Day on Friday, so I don't think the one day that I'm not like all over it around lineup lock is the day that you're choosing to do these, and it's
It's an advantage for all you listeners. Santino's baked-in excuse for when you smoke him. that he didn't have time to sit there and do it because he had to walk his dog. Not like he could stop for a second. Like they're not on like a constant moving treadmill or anything.
We go. It's Friday, so it's a long nighttime play date.
Party. Okay, it sounds kind of weird. Whatever you and your dog are doing on your nighttime play dates, but
go to the park and have fun, bud. That's what we do.
All right. Well, if you guys want to have fun with Santino and his dog at the park late at night, you could do that, or you could just jump in the DFS contest that we'll have this Friday. It's going to be a good time. We get about 25 people. We might spread it to 30 a little bit, but the only thing is it's one that I am hosting myself, so it needs to fill. Otherwise, it does not go. We filled it pretty quickly last time, so I'm confident we will this time again. But you'll see me tweet out the link. You'll see Santino probably tweet it out. Hoopball will tweet it out right around maybe Thursday night, early Friday morning. So then jump in there, guys. Reserve your seat. Take your shot. The winner will get a special prize from me. Hopefully you like it. Hopefully you don't hate it. And that is all. But we will be back tomorrow. It's going to be the wonderful Dave Metcalf, handling his biz. Santino and I are off, but we will be floating around. We'll be hanging out in the Discord and answering some questions, stuff like that. But anything else you want to say before we take off, man?
No, I think we covered it.
Yep, I think that's all. All right. Thank you guys for listening. Let's go out there. Let's take down some tournaments.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.
Nissan believes you deserve a car that thrills you. So we have to ask, does your car thrill you? When you hit the pedal, do you get something back? A chill in your spine, goosebumps on your goosebumps. When you take off, do your fingers tighten around the steering wheel? Does your heart beat in your stomach and your breath catch in your chest? Does driving make you feel alive? Because it should. And if your car doesn't thrill you, ours will. This is the new Nissan.